Welcome to the
Hello.
Banjocord Q&A. I'm Bones. I will be one of your hosts tonight. With me, I also got Gabagoo. If you want to introduce yourself real quick.
Hi, hello, my name's Gabugu. I'm also hosting along with Bones as well.
All right. So he and I are gonna be your questionnaire people today, and we're probably gonna have more players coming in later. But right now, we only got two with us, and they are Vader and Robo. So Vader, why don't you introduce yourself first, and then after that,
Hello. Name's Vader, everyone's maybe favorite Grunge player, also a dedicated labber. Um, Hope you guys are having a good day, whether it's cool weather or hot weather. But yeah, if you have any questions, that's what we're here for.
all right. And Robo, you can introduce yourself too.
Hey, I'm Robo. I wouldn't really say I'm a top player. I'm more mid-level and actually playing, but I am very good at labbing this game. I know pretty much every mechanic. I know all the frame data. I know a lot of setups that I haven't released because a lot of things just don't work with this character. But it's the yeah. We'll talk about the character later, not in my introduction.
I also like to point out that Robo makes a fantastic Regal Blaster Guide video for KFCs, as well as just basic blaster combos. Just want to get that out there. Great content.
Yep.
But so you two ready for the questions, and whoever else is here for? No, we don't have any other labbers here. You guys ready?
Not yet, but if they do join in, we'll just put them on the stage.
Would you mind keeping an eye out for that?
Definitely.
All right, thank you. So I'm gonna go ahead and ask the first question, and it's by Shio, and he asks. Oh, by the way, you've been playing Banjo since they came out. He asks, "What are your opinions on why Banjo is so unpopular in the current meta, similar to, or well, he's similar to characters like Snake and Young Link, but he's like really unpopular." He's asking your opinions on why you think he's so unpopular.
Um, I have a couple of theories, but I'll get like the basic bread and butter theory out. One theory is that like because Banjo's damage output without like landing fairs or Wondering like his damage output is so poor, so like winning neutral a lot is kind of like taxing for some people, and they don't kind of want to deal with that. Whereas when characters like Youngling and Snake, whenever they win neutral, they rack up damage so fast, and it also helps that they also have a solid combo game. Whereas Banjo, when he has his combos, he usually does like 20 to 30%, so that's not like a lot. So they probably just want um more consistent characters, if that makes sense. As far as damage output, and they also have better zoning tools than Banjo does. Unfortunately, like Grenade and Brigo Blaster are good in their own right, but it's just kind of like I want to say situational, but it's kind of like tricky to sometimes get those confirms. Whereas like with them, it's not as hard to get confirms. So that's just one theory, and then the other theory is just it's an unpopular pick, but sometimes people kind of like the more what's the word I'm looking for? Okay, so like most people like kind of like more like pressure heavy, like fast pacing characters, and sometimes they don't see that with Banjo. So like if they see characters like yelling that can kind of pressure very well, they can kind of do that. Robin some degree can do that. With Banjo, like he could do that too, but not as well as the others. So that's probably one theory why they kind of don't see Banjo as exciting as the other characters.
Eh, And for my opinion, it's mostly Banjo is probably one of the most technical characters in the game, and you need to put in a lot of work to get value out of him. But he's
Right.
still, even after that, only a mid tier or lower high tier, if you're really really good with him. But honestly, he's also just very strange to play. So a lot of people their first impressions on the character aren't going to be very good. A lot of his combo routes aren't very um, easy to figure out. Um, just naturally, and a lot of his controls are kind of strange, like how the grenade comes from behind you. Especially Brigo Blaster is something that no casual player is going to ever pull out because it's just difficult to use and not, difficult to control and difficult to use properly. So
Yeah,
there's just a lot of work you have to put into them, and not a lot of people are going to be willing to put in that work.
right. You mentioned that it's hard to use and to play safely. Like, I agree because sometimes Banjo players will pull out Brigo Blaster and then they don't know how to
I see a
move
lot
with it.
of
Do
of
or
new banjo players just pull up Regal Blast and just stand still and hold A and just fire shots randomly.
yeah, I was like that too when I was trying to learn Brigo Blaster. I'm like,
So
what do I do now?
I understand that people don't understand how to do like the basic confirms like blaster up tilt, blaster up air, blaster ladders. It's a really
Yeah,
complicated move.
Yeah, one of the things about Brigo Blaster, a tip that a lot of people can benefit from is you do lose a lot of like mobility options with Brigo Blaster, but one great thing you have with it is your attacks and your mobility are completely separate from each other with it. So you can jump while you're shooting, you can land while you're shooting, you can shoot at any time and do any movement you want. You do have you are slower in general, and you can't like dash or anything, but you should be using your mobility when you're in Blaster.
yeah,
I use a blaster like as like a spacing tool. Like if people are like getting close to me, like I'll backpedal and like fire shots.
yeah. It's also really good when you're also B reversing with it. Makes his movement a little better, at least
But
when pulling out the blaster.
I will say though, this is kind of getting slightly off
Yeah.
topic to the question, but I just want to add my 2 cents because you know I get a lot of hate whenever I go to my friend's stream for playing banjo, and I think it's just because a lot of people don't know how to deal with zoning. Like I don't think they're asking why he's hated like as like a character that you play, but more as like a character you fight. And I think it's just because he is a very like basic zoner. Like eggs are really annoying to deal with in neutral if you don't know the matchup, especially grenades. I think
Yeah,
that's probably the reason why people don't like him. Plus, like he can mix you up with like throwing grenades at you, like blaster combos. I
and
don't
then
think people
random
like that all that
Wonder
much.
Wings.
People also think Wonder Wing's a scummy move, which it's not. It's actually not that great of a move. But I
Yeah,
think that's just the problem. People just don't know how to deal with the character all that well, and it doesn't help that he's kind of an obscure character. Also, like not a whole lot of people play him. And I think that's why people just don't like him. And when it comes
yeah,
into like the meta aspect of playing him, again with Robo and Vader, like he's a very technical character like Snake, but his damage up, which is so poor. So people just
yeah,
don't like him. It's like you're playing a Gimp Snake at that point, which he's not.
yeah,
He's cooler.
yeah. He's cooler and Banjo's because there's so many things he could do with Grenade Egg and even Brigo Blaster. Like he has more freedom that he could do. I'm not saying that Snake and Yelling don't have that. I'm sure they do, but just Banjo has a lot of things that he can do. It's just people just don't see that often.
Did you
It's
want to
like in
add
a way.
anything, by the way?
It's like in a. Oh, sorry. Go on.
I was gonna ask if you wanted to add anything, Gabu.
Um, so like I feel like you guys got into the topic of why Banjo isn't like very popular when like fighting against characters like when like fighting against a character, but I'm going to explain why I think the character is also like not very popular in terms of like people actually wanting to play the character. And I think it's because with like Banjo, like you guys mentioned it earlier, but like his damage output is quite poor, quite low. Like I feel like a lot of the times when you play Banjo, you have to like work a lot harder. You have to work a lot harder as Banjo to like get like 40%. Meanwhile, you can play a character like Wolf. You can just do forward air, down throw, then dash attack and just get like around the same amount of percentage. So I think like just Banjo's basic stats are just not as appealing as characters like Snake or like Young Link, who are able to like zone you out, but can also like box you like up close as well. Meanwhile, Banjo doesn't really have as much. So that's my take on why I believe that Banjo isn't very popular to like play as in the current meta.
Right. I can see that.
Is that all you guys wanted to say about that topic?
I believe
Yeah.
so, unless anyone else has something to add.
We covered most of the points.
All right.
All right, so since we covered most of the points, we're gonna answer a question by Momo. He's been playing the character since the character came out, and he asked the panelists, "What is your favorite combo / confirm to do with Banjo?"
What's our favorite combo?
Yeah, combo kill confirm. Oh, hey, Tearbear's here. Let me get
Hey.
in here, and I'm actually gonna re-ask him that question. So, Tear, if you can hear us, I'm just gonna invite you to speak. If you just accept that, you'll come on the stage.
Yep, I already invited him to speak.
All right, cool. He's connecting. Think he's here. Hi, Tearbear. We see your like mouth thing moving, but I don't hear like audio coming out. He's deafened now.
I think he's just getting himself like fixed and everything like that.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to figure it out.
Well, I think we can hear him now. There's like a little white noise coming out. You good? He's deafened again.
Hmm.
So
Might be having a hard time figuring it out.
Technical
Tara,
issues.
if you can hear me, DM me and let me know if you're talking. I don't really know how to fix this. Already DM'd me. His mic's not connecting. That's weird.
Alright.
If you want to try and troubleshoot it, you can go ahead and do that, and I can just re-add you.
Yeah, and then yeah. And we'll just alright. So as I was saying,
So,
Momo, Momo, he's been playing the character since day one, and he asked, "What is your favorite combo / confirm to do with Banjo?"
Um, that's my favorite combo with Banjo, especially in low percent, is that I I happen to pull out Brigo Blaster, and the first egg shot hits the opponent, and you hit them with the second egg from Brigo Blaster, and then I do double up tilt or sometimes one depending on character weight, and then I do up air, and that by itself does a meaty like almost 40% damage, and that's pretty good considering, like we talked about in the last question, that Banjo usually has a hard time racking up damage percent. So that's my favorite combo with Banjo.
I'm gonna have two answers for this. One is my favorite actual really good combo, and that's at mid percents. It's short hop Brigo Blaster to landing up air to forward air. It's just such a nice little meaty combo that's pretty easy to hit once you know how to get a good landing up air out of your short hop blaster, and it sends at a good angle to follow up afterwards with pressure. It's really good damage at mid percents. And my favorite combo just to hit, and it's not optimal at all, or debatable. There's better variations that don't do this. But if you Brigo Blaster someone under a platform, I mean, everyone knows they get put into a tech situation on a platform. And normally, optimally, what you would want to do is follow them up on the platform, and then tech chase whatever they do, so that they don't have a chance to escape with the tech. But if you give up on that and you just up tilt them under the platform and they no tech, then I like to call it the backbreaker because they're laying flat on the platform as Banjo shoves his giant bare foot straight up their back and sends them into the top blast zone. It's my favorite animation because usually it hits them like right as they land on the platform, so they're just laying flat as you break their back.
Tearbear, real quick. Can you give us a mic check real quick?
Yeah, it's working now.
All right, sick.
There he is.
So I'm actually gonna re-ask the first question just so I can get your input on it, and it's by Shio, and he is asking, what is your opinion on why Banjo is so unpopular in the current meta, even though he's similar to characters like Snake and Young Link?
Unpopular, probably because of me a little bit, honestly. I think anytime, I mean, the technical stuff is like cool, but it doesn't really get much like light to it. But like, I guess a lot of people just see me doing like super campy, and even my community, like they love me, but they're like, oh yeah, like I just play so lame that it's not fun.
One thing I like about your playstyle is that you kind of encapsulate like the entire like silliness of the character.
Yeah. When I want to spam side B, I'll spam side B. Like if people usually know, like I'm gonna go for like the side B off the platform, like the recovering platform, and I'm gonna do it anyways, and then I'm gonna side B again, and then I'm gonna do it again or whatever. Like I don't know. I have fun too much, but that's a bad thing here and there.
Yeah.
Takes me out of my seriousness.
It is fun to watch though. Is that all you wanted to say on that?
Besides that, Unpopular, I mean, I still think a lot of people like know much about Banjo. We get hate, but it's not that bad. Like we're not as bad, nearly as bad as Min or Steve, like by a long shot.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah, we don't stand across the stage and spam forward smashes. But
Yeah.
I was talking about like why he's unpopular is because like he's a really unknown character and it's just like an annoying zoner for people to take care of.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't mind finding banjos, but yeah, I don't know.
But the second question was, what's your favorite combo or kill confirm to do with Banjo? And it was asked by Momo.
Probably the blasters to up airs to whatever. I think specifically I like blaster up air to like rising nair, and then like land on like a PS2 platform with them, and then I jab them. That feels pretty satisfying, and I'm sure kind of like shakes people up. They're like, "Oh shit, this guy knows what he's doing." Like, yeah, a lot of the blaster combos are just fun, and it's just very soothing to do like over and over again. Kill confirms. I like cheesing people with like blaster up air, forward air to like if they're not checking themselves or if they're kind of lazy, I'll go for a side B, and they're like sometimes they get caught off guard, but it doesn't really work against like really good players, but it's still fun to hit every once in a while. Besides that, kill confirm, probably blaster up tilt. Yeah.
Blaster up tilt is the classic.
Speaking of kill confirms, I never mentioned mine, but you guys probably already know this, but I love playing around with grenade eggs. So like anything I do with grenade eggs is a lot of fun. But my favorite kill confirm with grenade egg is, surprisingly enough, I sometimes like to spawn grenade egg at the ledge when they're at disadvantage. If they happen to get hit by grenade egg, and if I see it coming, I kill confirm with forward smash, and it's so funny because of Kazooie.
That's a good kill confirm. I like that one. But
Yeah, because it just pops them up in the air, and if they're like low enough for Banjo to hit them with forward smash, it's just so satisfying.
Gabu, did you want to add any combos or kill
Yeah.
confirms?
Yeah, sure. So, for kill confirms, this is gonna sound really basic, but I really just like the simple Brigo Blaster shot into up tilt because for me, it's just really comforting in a way because I know for a fact that like I can't drop it. It's so easy. So when I like hit someone with a Brigo Blaster shot, I know for a fact that I'm just gonna connect into up tilt. So I really like that. That's probably my favorite kill confirm to land with Banjo. And for when it comes to combos, anything related to like Brigo Blaster is probably my favorite because I feel like Brigo Blaster ladders, they are like so rewarding because I know for a fact that I put in the time and effort to like learn the Brigo Blaster ladders. So whenever I'm like carrying my opponent like high above the stage, can like juggling them with Brigo Blaster, I noticed that like I know for a fact that I earned it myself. I taught myself how to do that stuff. I spent the time. So being able to like hit it on my opponent in a match is just so satisfying to me.
Blaster platters are really nice to hit off. Yeah, I love those. But my favorite one is for both combos and kill confirms is just KFC into forward smash. Just looks funny. You shoot them, you put Kazooie away, you take Kazooie back out, you turn around back again, and then you hit them. It just looks stupid, and it's also consistent.
Indeed, it is.
But
Kills early too.
yes, it does. But anything out of a KFC is just what I like to do. But I think unless you guys have anything else you want to add to that, then that's the question. And thank you, Momo, for asking.
Very good question, Momo.
He's not here anymore. I can't thank him.
Oh,
Sad. I'm guessing you guys don't have anything else to say about that, though. Take that as a no. So we're gonna go on to the next one here, and it's by Adventurous, also known as Evan, and he's been playing Banjo since launch, and he's asking, what do you think the best buffs Banjo could receive if they were to happen?
Is that just open to anyone to respond to, or you're gonna ask someone?
Anyone
yeah,
can
it's
hop on
open to
board.
anybody. Yeah.
I imagine just more hits done on Blaster.
Just blaster stun, that's it, no damage output.
Yeah, no, like they just popped up and they weren't able to do anything for a little longer. Like, imagine you just got like a free like forward smash and you didn't have to KFC every time.
God, that'd be cheap.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's all I can think of, I guess. I don't know. Or dash attack should kill a little earlier than it does by a lot.
I'd say yeah, those are good buffs. Not the Brigo Blast one. I think that would make it a little too strong. But yeah, dash attack should definitely kill a lot earlier. It just feels like way too weak. Like you hit someone with it at like 150 and they're still alive.
I've hit people at like 160 and they live. It's like the worst feeling in the world.
Yeah, it kills me inside every time I see that. Robo Vader.
I would say the best buff we could probably get is probably lower knockback growth on grenade, so we can kill confirm off of it instead of it just sending way too high for us to get up there. Other than that, everyone wants more damage output. That's just a general thing.
Yeah, that's mine. So I'm not even gonna add this more damage.
I think less in lag on just neutral, just regular egg shot without blaster, or instead of more hit stun on Brigo Blaster, it'd probably be nice to have a faster put away for Kazooie, since that would also buff just like taking it out and putting it away. Just less in lag on both sets of neutral B. And that's my answer.
Vader, what do you got? Vader. Oh no, he's not breathing. We'll
Well,
come back to him.
yeah, we'll come back to it. So if I had to choose like any type of buffs that a Banjo could receive, um, I really wish that I really wish that some of his I really wish that some of his aerials were um a lot more safer on shield because I personally feel that a lot of his aerials are like just like really not safe on shield. like his safest aerial is like forward air, which is like -6, and I think that's just crazy. I really feel like compared to like a lot of the characters, I feel like Banjo's just really lacking on like shield pressure, and it's really dangerous to try to shield pressure with a Banjo at times. And I also wish that like some of his aerials like came out just a few frames faster as well. I really wish that like Nair, for example, was like a out of shield option, because I feel like that just make the move stronger. And maybe like a just like slight like damage increase on some of his aerials like Nair, or, like up air and like back air. And I think those would be like the buffs that I would want. Obviously, I would want more buffs, but I wouldn't want Banjo to be like broken or anything like that. So I'm just trying to be like just like more realistic.
Those are good buffs. I do think we need like a better out of shield option, and there is a good choice for that. Because like our best one is probably back air, and that only hits in one direction.
And it's
And
frame 11 as well.
oh, I know. Yeah, that's right. I thought it was faster. No, and then we have up smashes like frame 9. It's not that fast. So I think we need like a better out of shield option because Banjo shielding is just terrible.
Yeah,
Like not a whole lot you can do. I usually
like
just up B because you can get like that little bit of invincibility just to like get away. And
like
also, I just think we need more damage.
yeah, because like if you ask me, like his best out of shield options are just jumping out of shield and just running away, resetting back to neutral.
But Vader, are you back yet or? Okay, no, he's not. I'll come back to him
Well,
later.
yeah.
But Tear,
So
Robo, did either you want to add on to that or no?
I mean, if I added on, it would be addressing the question, but just like some of the things y'all have said. Like, I feel like I mean, we don't need an amazing out of shield game since whenever we're pressured in shield, we're going to be losing against any sort of rushdown character either way. Even if our out of shields are slightly faster, it won't really help us against most characters that do pressure our shield. Um, but our shield is actually pretty good as long as you always face away from the opponent, because then you have the long range back air. If they try to cross you up, then they're probably not going to go very far to the other side of you, so you can usually grab them. And up smash is just good for if someone's getting too greedy on your shield. Um,
I'd like to point out that Ice Slush in the backpack brought up a really good one I forgot about increased grab range. Because it's terrible.
I would say I think usually I said a while ago, airspeed, better airspeed would be great, and like not such a bad dash start or whatever.
Yeah, his airspeed's not good.
Airspeed would probably be the craziest thing, but
I mean, I feel like more so than airspeed, jump height is really what messes with us being able to do a lot of combos, since most of our combo starters send up, and so we just can't do anything off of them at high percents for kill confirms. Um, Airspeed is the big factor on avoiding attacks, though, and recovering, since the recovery is pretty punishable just because we don't have good airspeed and we have to do so much to get back to the stage if we don't use a Wonder Wing.
Did you guys want to add anything else to that, or is that it?
I think I've said enough. Like obviously I would want more Banjo. If I could like think of more Banjo buffs, I would, but again, I don't want the character to be like, super overpowered or broken like that. So I think I've said what I really want to be like changing the character.
Not wanting your DLC to be broken. Come on now. But if that's the case, unless Vader's back, one last check. No. All right, I
All right.
guess we'll
Well,
move on to the next question. Gabo, do you want to ask this one?
yeah, sure. So Banjo 2E He's been playing the character since release, and he says, throughout the 2 years Banjo has been out, what makes you the most proud of the Banjo meta besides the Banjo players getting good results?
Just whoever wants to answer first, go ahead.
What was the question exactly?
Yeah, so the question basically Banjo Tooie asks, what makes you like most proud of the Banjo meta besides Banjo players getting good results?
It's a weird one to answer. I don't know.
I think they're talking about like breakthroughs, and for me, it's the discovery of like KFCs and like all this like weird stuff you can do with this blaster.
Yeah, I'd say just blaster combos in general and seeing how many people, I mean, not necessarily just like combos, but seeing how differently people use blaster and neutral, whether or not they like to stay grounded, whether or not they like to jump, whether or not they specifically like to use it to catch landings. Blaster is just a really inventive move on how you figure out how to get your hits with it. And that's one of the things I thought would um how blaster would work is just you need it's not specifically like very strong, but it's a very unique attack that you can use in a lot of different ways to break a lot of people's defenses. And just seeing how people use it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty general question. I think it's really just KFC and Blaster people doing Blaster stuff. Um, yeah, I think generally as a meta, I mean, it's not like we all come together and like talk about it. It's kind of just like, oh yeah, that's the thing.
One thing I like about the Banjo meta actually is that like a lot of different players play the character like in vastly different ways. Like yeah, people are a lot more grenade heavy and do like a lot of kill confirms off that. Yeah, people who like do all the crazy blaster stuff. You have Wi-Fi banjos, Lamau. But like one thing I like about it is just like Banjo's a character like you can just play however you really want. Like you can play him as a zoner, you can play him up close, and like you'll generally get good results. That's one thing I like about his meta. It's just always interesting to watch.
If I had to choose like what I'm most proud of about the Banjo meta, kind of what's similar to what Bone says. I really like all the I really like how like so many people like play the character differently. And it's like really interesting just to like see. Like whenever I play like say like the Banjo Ditto, I can always tell like how different somebody plays from me, and that's always cool to see. I like watch like VODs from like Tearbear and like owl babies, and it's just so cool to see how differently they play. Yeah, I watch players like Skew and I watch Skew J play, and it's just so cool to see how like all these players how like they share like similarities, but like they also have like big differences. And I always like just seeing the amount of ways how flexible like people like choose to play banjo. I think that's always cool to watch.
Vader, you back yet? Still no.
Vader, Vader, Vader.
Robo Terror, did you guys? Okay,
Oh,
he's gone.
Vader. Okay, I think. Okay, let's invite Vader back in to speak. Oh shoot.
Hold on.
Okay, I just invited him to speak. He should be. Vader, can you hear us now?
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes, yes. Okay.
Okay.
Good.
What's weird is that you guys were talking about the second question. I was trying to get your guys' attention. That I
Oh, we
haven't
didn't
answered
hear
my
you.
question.
We didn't hear you.
You should have DM'd me.
It's okay
Uh,
though. Well,
yeah.
basically, wait. So basically, all right. So I'll just basically just tell him. I'll basically tell Vader. So Vader, last question we were talking about what would be like the best buffs that Banjo could receive. What do
Okay.
you think?
I'll answer that real quick because I know we're on the next question.
Yeah.
Um, the the buffs I wanted to see with Banjo is um the first thing was I really like everyone has different opinions on Wonder Wing because people are either complaining about it or we like us banjos don't like it because how punishable it is. I kind of get why they kind of made it that way because Sakurai thought it would be too powerful, but I really think the reward for it isn't rewarding enough. And I think the buff would be kind of appreciated is if Banjo didn't have any sour hits on it because I think it makes no sense that he has like sweet spot Wonder Wing at the start, and then like towards the end it has sour spot and it makes the move less reliable for kills and it makes no sense.
Yeah, light hit Wonder Wing is so weak. People will
Yeah, like
live it at past like near the blast zone at like 130.
and still if
I don't know why they put a sour hitbox on Wonder Wing. Like you're not like losing any momentum like when doing it. I don't know, it's weird.
yeah. It just makes the reward for it not as rewarding. I just feel like they should just make it all sweet spot for Wonder Wing. So that way when you do get the hit, like you do get that satisfaction of getting the kill. But you can't do that
Okay.
if it's sour spot.
Yeah. And so like and like the question we're on currently right now is what are you most proud of what makes you like the most proud of the Banjo meta besides like players getting good results, Banjo players getting good results?
Um I really like that that there's obviously a dedicated um community for banjos, and I'm not just saying like for like the character in Smash, but also for the fan base. So like if there's any banjos that are playing the character, not just because like we're just playing because he's just there or whatever, but I really like that there's dedicated players that also love the games, and I think it also helps push their motivation to be like want to get good with the character, like they see the potential in Banjo.
It's a good response.
Yeah,
But
like
go
like
ahead.
I could play like some player could be like, oh, why play Banjo when I could play like this character or that character? But players that stick with Banjo is like you gotta admire him because like I think it was either Bones or Robo, but like Banjo takes a lot of dedication and work to do good with him, and like you gotta give props to the Banjos that stick with the character regardless how hard it is to play him, especially in high level play.
Yeah, I agree, especially with like characters high up on the middle, like Lucina, like Lucina and like Roy, Wolf, Joker, Pithra. Like sometimes it can be like really hard when you see characters like those. Like it'd be really hard to like want to like stick to those characters, stick to Banjo.
Yeah.
And I think it's a very admirable thing. Is there anything else that you guys want to add on to like being proud, like what makes you proud of like the Banjo meta? Because if not, then we can just like continue to the next question.
Just I guess the one thing I will add is like it it's like we talked about earlier. It's very nice to know that with Rigo Blaster, especially with KFC and then with Grenade Egg, there's like so many possibilities he could do with Banjo that it he almost has as high as IQ play as like someone like Pac-Man. So like it's almost like impossible to list everything because you could just do so much with those tools that Banjo has.
Yeah, Banjo's like a really crazy, like high tactical character. I like watching like all the like nutty stuff people can do in those, like watching Snake almost.
Yeah.
Just crazy setups. But
Yep.
unless you guys have anything else to add to that, we'll go on to the next question.
I think we're good.
Okay.
All right. So before the next question, I see he doesn't really have. He's been playing Banjo since February 20th of this year, and he doesn't really have a specific question, but he would like to give a thank you to JPlay and Tearbear for like being like the first Banjo players that he saw, and they really inspired him to like pick up Banjo Kazooie and like fix up like his skills with them to this day. So he just wanted to give you guys like a shout out and thank you.
That's nice.
Indeed, it is. So, next question by Pajama Collector. He says he's a beginner with the character, so I assume he picked up the character quite recently. And he says I'm struggling to make use of Brigo Blaster. Any tips on how you manage to work that move into your gameplay more often? Um, and what situations is the blaster better than the egg and grenade? Than the I assume down B is what he's asking.
I don't think it's better than the down B. I mean, you always kind of want to have the down B out.
Yeah, you always want grenades active.
Yeah, it's
Doesn't-
pretty much like Duck Hunt's can. You want to have it out as often as possible.
Incorporating it though, I think that's personal preference. If you want to incorporate it, you just gotta use it more often, and you might be forcing it for a while, but you'll get used to it. I think why I was so quick to like get to Blaster right away is because I played Young Link before, so I was kind of like used to like confirming off of like arrow to like up B or something like that. So like you kind of have to have the confidence to know that you're gonna hit it, and like it's you have like a good amount of time off that first initial shot, but you definitely don't want to have it out when it's like super stale, because then you literally can't do anything with it unless you like hit someone at like right in their face.
Hmm.
And if it's in terms of execution, then I mean, execution, it's just playing more with it. The only tip I would give, or just not really a tip, but just know if you're trying to put away Blaster and you land, while after you press shield again, it'll get rid of your shield input and it won't put it away. So you need to hold shield when you're landing. Um, that's just one annoying thing that I've always noticed when trying to land on platforms with it. But in terms of knowing when to pull it out, one of the things I like to do is threaten with Blaster without shooting. So pulling Blaster out and then just immediately putting it away, usually jump and put away, isn't that much isn't that much more laggy than just doing the egg shot by itself, and gives you a little bit more mobility options out of it. So if you do that a lot, you just pull Blaster out, and if you don't want to use it, just immediately put it away. Then you'll also be able to figure out when you do want to shoot it instead. Um, I
Um,
mean, there's a bunch of situations where you can pull it out, like catching landings or against characters that like to stay grounded instead of jumping. Um, yeah,
my quick tip is that if you're gonna use Brigo Blaster, you most likely want to do it either by B reversing or just doing it in the air. Like, don't try to bother doing it on while you're grounded, because it gives Banjo so much more lag to pull it out, and the movement becomes more sluggish.
yeah, that's a point. Whenever you're pulling the blaster out, you if you land while you're pulling the blaster out, you have less. I don't remember. I don't know exactly what stat is changed, but I think you have like more ground acceleration. So if you're landing while pulling the blaster out, then you can move really fast on the ground before the blaster is already out. And blaster mode has really low ground acceleration. Um, so it's really slow to just walk anywhere. But if you do that, then you can start at full speed.
I usually like whenever I try and like tell people like how to learn how to use Blaster. So I play Banjo as a very heavy zoner character, and when in neutral, like when I'm walling people out with grenades and eggs, I kind of wait for that one little opening, and then I transition into it. Like I'll like jump back, do B reverse egg into blaster, and try and get combos off that, like confirm an egg shot from B reverse, advance in slowly, shoot the blaster, and like right when I'm underneath them, I'll like do up tilt. So I usually just like try and learn how to do it, or I try and teach people how to do it out of just like walls. Just okay, they have an opening, go in, get the blaster in, see what you can get off the blaster. Ladder, up tilt, whatever you can get. That's how I always do it. And you don't even need to learn like any of like the crazy stuff either. Like if you can just like learn blaster up tilt, I think you're good because it's a solid kill confirm. Like you don't need to learn like KFCs like super duper like early on. I mean they help out, but like I don't think that like, they're vital.
So basically the way that I managed to like move the manage that I managed to like the way that I managed to use Brigo Blaster a lot in my game plan. So I used to struggle with Brigo Blaster a lot. Actually, when starting off the character, I didn't really like know what to like how to use it until I saw what Tearbear was able to do with the move. So after I saw what Tearbear was able to do with the move, I like spend like a lot of my time in the training mode just like practicing the move, learning how it can be used, learning how to do the ladders. And once I got like the ladders down consistently enough in the training mode, I would then like work on using those moves in like in my neutral game. So I would like use Brigo Blaster to like zone out my opponents a lot. And then once my opponent gets in, I would then like work on like timing my Brigo Blaster usage so I can like so I'll be able to like ladder my opponents. And I'm just gonna be straight up, just honest. Like at first, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard trying to like ladder your opponents to begin with, but it just takes a lot of muscle memory and like timing in order to like get it down consistently. So in order to like so like I know it may sound very typical, it may sound very plain, but it just takes you just have to practice putting it you have to practice hitting your opponents with it a lot. And you just have to it just takes a lot of practice and dedication towards it. But once you like manage to like once you manage to like incorporate that move a lot, you'll be able to like use it. You'll find lots of use out of it. And in situations where I think blaster would be better than like egg grenade, I think grenade is Banjo's best move. I'm just gonna be straight up. But I feel like blaster is like can be like really good if you want to like start off like combos and stuff like that. Like you can do like stuff like blaster into up tilt, blaster into like ladders, blaster into up air, blaster into nair. I feel like blaster is better when it comes to like starting off like combo strings, but I think overall I would say that grenade is a better move, but blaster is still really good. Like I still think it's like I think neutral B is like second second to grenade in terms of like best. And yeah, that's what I have to say on the question.
Yeah, I agree, especially since I also love playing with Grenade Egg.
So, is there anything else like you guys want to add on to, or do you think we can like move on to the next question?
I think we're good.
Alrighty. Rama, did you want to ask the next one too, or no?
Sure. All right. So, Toxic Pyro, he's been playing the
No,
character
no,
since.
you want the one by Icy.
Oh, oh, yeah, I already
Alright.
said. Yeah, I already said what Icy said already.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I
okay.
said it before we asked the question about the Brigo Blaster.
Alright. Then yeah, Toxic Pyro it is.
So yeah, Toxic Pyro, he's been playing the character since they released, and he wants to know how do you beat the Pyramith or matchup? Oh boy.
Oh, jeez.
Uh,
Yeah, give me a minute to think about that one.
okay, you know what? It's fine. All right. So I think if nobody else wants to go first, I'll go in.
Go
I'm
ahead.
going to try my hardest not to be super negative, because I can't. I'm not a fan of this character, and I'm just gonna say that. But it's still doable. So with Mithra, um, Grenade, Grenade will be your best friend because Grenade is so good at taking a lot of stage control. So you want to like have a grenade at all times to like mess up with Mithra trying to rush you down, because that's what most Mithra players, that's what they'll do. They will rush you down. They will try to get in your face. They will try to throw out all their lagless aerials, and you just gotta accept that. Accept that. In fact, dealing with Pythra, it's very mental. So just accept all the crap that they can do to you. You will beat Mithra's side B. So like, don't be afraid to use it against her side B. Um, use eggs a lot to like halt their approaches towards you. Use eggs, Bregel Blaster, slow them down. Throw out grenades, like I said earlier. Throw out grenades, that'll slow them down. And then when Pyro comes in, you do not want to give her you do not want to give her any range. You should be a lot more aggressive towards Pyro than you are with Mithra, because Pyra's slow, her moves are slow, but she has so much more range, and Pyra thrives off range. So make sure you're always trying to like rush her down, and do not be afraid to edge guard these characters because their recoveries are really exploitable. Like that's their main flaw, are their recoveries. So do not be scared to
As a
edge
matter of
guard.
fact,
Yeah.
that's what I'm gonna say. I think versus Pyro's up B specifically, like she goes up like Ike and Crom, so you can actually like let them with Wonder Wing if I'm correct.
Yes, you are.
I believe you can also do that with down tilt as well. Set to 2 frames.
Yes.
Yeah, I think Wonder Wing isn't very good at hitting below the ledge if they sweet spot it for most characters. I haven't tested if Pyra is consistent, but I would just go for down tilt because if you down tilt them, they're dying.
Yeah, down tilt's more consistent against Pyre's recovery, and then if you see Mithra trying to recover side B and if you react to it, you could just Wonder Wing.
Yeah.
It's just knowing how they're gonna recover is the thing. And then like Ramen said, like don't be afraid to like try to go out there and edge guard him because their recoveries aren't that great.
Now, from my experience fighting the character, I actually don't like using grenade against them unless I'm catching and throwing it, because for me, every time I've tried to use grenade to wall a Mithra out, Mithra's side B for me actually blows up, detonates the grenade before it'll hit her. So I like to try to wall Mithra out with blue eggs if she wants to stay grounded, um, as much as I can. I like to use back air against them just to be able to challenge their disjoints with my disjoints. Um, Pyra is a lot easier. Throw grenades at her, shoot blue eggs at her. Her aerials are really big and pretty slow, but so she can destroy the blue eggs and grenade eggs from a safe distance from her with her aerials, but it puts her in enough lag that you can go and um, punish her afterwards. So just her clashing with the projectiles is good enough for you to get openings. Try to avoid the side B as much as possible. That's your in the down smash. That's your main focus on avoiding against Pyra. Um,
Uh,
and
speaking,
as was said before, if you get them off stage, they are much better than you on stage. So once you get them off stage, you should do whatever you can to make sure you close out that stock right then and there. You do not let them get back on stage.
yeah. Speaking of off stage, you also want to mix up your recovery with Banjo. If you're going up against Pirate, you need to be very careful when you're upping to the ledge because for some dumb reason, Pyra's down air has a large hitbox that it could still spike Banjo. Might be one of those situations where, like, if you see Pyra and you're trying to recover back to the stage, you might have to either use the grenade infinite to get back to the stage, like, above it, or use Wonder Wing just to grab the ledge. But like, we're trying to recover low when you see a Pyra is very dangerous.
Yeah, it's good to cover the ledge with a blue egg or a thrown grenade egg from off stage, just so you can grab ledge without them easily being able to throw out us down air. If you're forced to upbeat a ledge, then I would say you have 3 mix-ups. You can either up B from far enough to the side of the ledge that you can just air dodge or double jump afterwards, and you'll avoid the down air. Or you can just mix up your timing with charge or uncharged. You don't want to be low enough that you're forced to charge, because then that's a very easy to kill. Because Banjo isn't
Yeah,
very good at grabbing ledge.
yeah, and Zuppy is also kind of slow.
Um,
One thing I also want to point out is we talked about Banjo's out of shields options earlier against Pyra. Well, not just Pyra, but the Xeno girls in general. Unless they like land on your shield like poorly, it's really hard to do any out of shield options against them because they kind of have little to no lag on their stuff. So if they hit your shield, it's probably best to just like run away or jump away out of shield, because some of Banjo's out of shield options don't work against them too well, just because of how disjointed their moves are and how little lag they have. Because there's been a couple occasions where I try to up smash or back air, and sometimes it won't work just because of how disjointed or how safe their aerials are.
oh, and one extra tip with edge guarding that we didn't already mention. If they're forced to upbeat a ledge, you can run off and drop a shock spring pad. If they hit you out of the shock spring pad, it'll still hit them.
Yeah.
And it's a frame 1. It's sort of like a shine that you can charge and hold for however long. They have to. Shock spring pad isn't big enough to cover all the different like horizontal spaces they can go to ledge from, but it's a pretty easy hit if you don't if say they're sweet spotting perfectly and you can't down tilt or wonder wing them. It's a pretty good way to gimp them.
Yeah, and you can also go down there yourself and do back air, and they're forced in a tech situation where if they don't tech, which is kind of tricky to do because Kazui's back air hits pretty fast, they could either get state spiked, or if they manage to come out tech, then that's good on them. But it's a situation that you can do with Banjo. It's kind of similar with Game Watch back air, where he'll just poke you with back air, and then if they don't like expect it, they'll just get state spike for it. That's the option you could do with Banjo too, with back air.
Okay, so
Tear, did you want to add anything to that or no?
Think we good.
All right. Ron, what were you gonna say?
yeah, I was gonna say like I think we said a lot that we could about Pyramithra.
Usually,
And
whenever I fight them, I just zone them out because I'm stupid and I don't know the matchup, so I'm not gonna add anything to it.
yeah, usually I'll be honest. I know I'm a Banjo player at heart, but I will try to go any other character than Banjo for this matchup because I hate this matchup.
Yeah, I hate it too, dude.
I usually just play K roll whenever I do this matchup, and this isn't the K roll Q&A, so I'm not gonna say anything about that.
Yeah, but I think
if I-
overall, I think we said everything that we could about this question. Very good question.
I've learned a lot from that question, so thank you for asking it.
Same here actually.
So
But unless Tara wants to add anything to it, we'll move on to the next one.
No, I would just zone them out, really. Yeah, their gameplay is pretty straightforward of Mithra, go in, Pyra, kill. And
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, just the matchup's annoying for me because like sometimes like Mithra's sword will just beat everything, like
Yeah.
including like the grenade. Um, but yeah, I mean, sometimes it's just them just kind of just knowing what they're going for and scoring off of that.
Okay.
Yeah, grenade egg is pretty bad against sorties since the explosion hitbox is actually pretty tiny. So most of them can, even like halfway through their disjointed hitboxes, can detonate the grenade without getting hit.
Yeah,
All right.
fortunately.
Yeah. So I think it's time for us to like move on to like another question.
Yes, and this one is by Ms. Pepsi, also known as Pepsi, and she's been playing since this year. And they're asking, what's your opinion on Banjo and Kazooie offline, and are they viable?
Offline or online?
Offline. Offline.
Oh, okay, offline. Um, I think Banjo offline is still pretty good. Like, obviously, like online, if you play against online Banjos, they'll say like, "Oh, Banjo's more annoying because it's harder to react to stuff in an online environment." But offline, I think Banjo is about the same-ish as online. Just again, online gives Banjo a little more on the edge because it's harder to react to stuff. But I think he's fine. Like he's still pretty much the same. Like I think he's like mid tier, maybe below high tier, because he still has to work a lot regardless.
Well,
think
yeah,
Ban-
no, it's good.
Yeah, I think Banjo is much better online than he is offline. Just trying to do any Brigo Blaster stuff online is horrible. Um, Blue Egg is probably the best online. People complain about Wonder Wing online a lot, but Wonder Wing is still reactable online. The latency doesn't add that much considering Wonder Wing is just that slow. You can
Yeah,
react to it no matter what. Most of the times people get hit by it, they're going to get hit by it either way. It's just much easier to react to offline.
yeah,
And I think so. Banjo, I think it's probably the only thing that's buffed against Banjo online is people probably being able to consistently grab grenade eggs and use it against you. So just always be prepared for that. It's not something people do online very often, but people will do that to you offline.
yeah,
I like Banjo a lot more offline because I can just grab my grenades a lot more consistently and get a lot more confirmed up blaster consistently. Because the
yeah.
latency is
I
much better.
agree too. I don't know why, but it feels harder for me to at least when catching a grenade with the Z button, like the grab button, it's a little harder to do online. I think it's just because the input, but like sometimes I will end up doing an air dodge instead of actually catching it, which is annoying. Whereas when I'm doing it offline, I get that much more consistently.
Make sure you're not using grenade as soon as you leave the ground with a short hop or full hop because you will never be able to Z catch it. Um, you have too much vertical speed whenever you use it, so it ends up lower than you can catch if you use it immediately after jumping,
Yeah.
which is something really stupid that I wish wasn't something you had to worry about. But
Yeah.
it's
That's why we gotta practice being consistent on those.
I also find it a lot easier to do KFCs and like STC inputs offline, just because I don't have that latency, and online there's also that risk of the game hiccuping, and then I lose my input. So yeah, I would say he's a lot more viable online or offline play.
Personally, in terms of Banjo's viability, it depends on how you offline. It depends on how you play. So, if you're a lot more like if you're like campy, you just don't interact with your opponent at all. You just shoot eggs, throw grenades, and then you just throw out a Wonder Wing. Then I would say that Banjo's viability is heavily nerfed. Um, is nerfed offline, but is buffed online. But if you're like a lot more, if you mix up more aggressive and defensive play and you try to incorporate like Brigo Blaster tech and stuff like that, I think Banjo is slightly more viable offline than online. But if you ask me, I think Banjo's viability online and offline are roughly the same. I still think that the character is still like I mean like this is gonna probably like spoil one of the questions earlier, but later on. But I just think like Banjo offline and online, I think he's still like a mid tier character. That's just my personal opinion of the character. I like the character just has too many flaws where like they both transcend online and offline.
Yeah, and I agree with the mix-up game. Like you have to mix up with Banjo's game. Like there's no like there won't be some matchups where like oh hey I need to play defensive. Like oh hey I need to pressure. Just like how we were talking about the Xeno girls, where you kind of want to zone him out or sometimes pressure him against Pirate. Like I think Robo said or Bones, I can't remember who. But for the most part, yeah, you have to like mix up your game. Like you can't just be doing one game plan and say like, oh, this is gonna work all the time. You have to mix it up.
Also, I am getting a message saying that Miss Pepsi, she misread the question. She thought we were asking her how long has she been playing the Banjo-Kazooie game, but she's actually been playing the character since like last year.
Oh,
Oh,
Just to
okay.
just to fix up
so
some.
nice.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're enjoying the actual game series. Are quite good. So good on you.
Yep.
Conquer better. All right. So I think I think do we all have anything else to say about Banjo's viability offline?
No, I just think he's a lot more consistent online. And like, if you want to like know my tier placement for him, I'd like put him like smack dab in the center. Like he's not good. He's not like amazing. He's not bad. He's just like okay. He's got a lot
Average.
of problems. Yeah.
Lukewarm.
I think Banjo can obviously do good, like especially if you put in a lot of work and no grenade egg stuff and Frigo Blaster stuff and all that. But like there's gonna be like maybe some matchups especially where it feels like you either have to like hope that you are outplaying him constantly just so you could like do good with Banjo, or you gotta have to like at least have a secondary that helps with those annoying matchups for Banjo, because when you fight those matchups, it's really hard.
I'm a
Like
loyalist. I'm just gonna keep on playing Banjo and Carol. I don't care about matchups.
Same here.
good on you.
Like I love playing the characters to the point where like I'm willing to accept the fact that they're mid tier and that there are better characters that I could play.
There's only one high tier character I care about, and I'm not good enough to play him. But that's not
So
for here
far.
today.
Yeah, I like to believe in the Baron Bird, but like if drastic calls for it, then I have Game Watch to kind of help with that. But I don't like giving up on Banjo, so like I always at least try and make an effort to try at least, like not just like oh no, it's this character. I'm just gonna go straight to Game Watch or whoever. Gotta at least give it a shot, especially since if they don't know the matchup.
So did everybody give their thoughts on like Banjo's viability offline? Very good question, Miss Pepsi. That was a really good question.
And by the way, Bear or not Bear, Terror is gonna be away for a little bit. Oh, I'm not
Yeah,
wrong. Yes,
Tearbear is gonna be
Terror.
out for a bit. He's gonna be out for a bit, but he should be coming back with us.
Okay.
But I'm gonna ask the next question, and if he comes back, let's re-ask him.
Hello?
Oh, he's back.
What I missed?
Hey.
Nothing.
Nothing. We're about to get to the next question actually.
So the next question is by Tudo I'm not sure how to pronounce that, and I'm sorry for butchering it. And he's been playing banjo since 2019, almost 3 years. And he's asking, what is your favorite move for banjo that is not side B? And he also asked who drew my profile picture, and I answered that part, so don't worry about that.
Blaster.
Blaster's a good move. Yeah, I like grenade.
My favorite move is again forward smash, just because the animation on Kazui's face is funny as heck. But if I have to pick a favorite move that's actually like used more often, then yeah, I say grenade egg, because I love playing with that egg.
Grenade is just fun to use, like just grabbing it, letting it like bounce around on its own. Like it's just a fun move.
Yeah, it's just so like when you get the confirms, it's just so good, and all the things you can do with it, like for ledge trapping, edge guarding, it's just so good.
I'd say
I would
grenade or forward air.
I would say my
I
favorite
love
move
forward air
is
too.
probably I'd say my favorite move is grenade. Definitely. I just love using it neutral. I love the flexibility that I can use. I can use it to throw it at my opponent. I can use it to pressure my opponent. I can use it to get stage control. I can use it at disadvantage. I can use it to edge guard, ledge trap. I could use it for pretty much everything. And I really like having all that versatility in one move.
Yeah, and you can also bait it too. So like you could just like throw it up in the air, and then if your opponent's like afraid of the egg, they're just get a whole shield, and you're like, oh yeah, I could just get in for a grab.
Yep.
Blaster is a close second for me though, just because Blaster is just fun to do stuff with. It's laddering people, KFCing people, up tilting people.
Yep.
I think my least favorite move for Banjo though is just up throw. It's bad. Doesn't do anything.
My least favorite move is down air, and it sucks because that's supposed to be like one of their signature moves in the games.
I don't really have a least favorite move for the character because I generally like their moveset. Um, I guess I'd say probably down throw is like my least favorite move for the character because I just don't it like makes me kind of tilted whenever I down throw my opponent and then they play a Mario Party mini game on their controller and then they just get out for free. I don't like that at all. That's no fun. I wish the move
Yeah.
had more. I wish the move put my opponents in a berry situation more, but I'm not gonna go off. I'm not gonna go off about that.
I'm gonna say 3 different moves for 3 different reasons. Uh, 2 are up smash and down air. Up smash is a good move. It's just lasts a year, so I hate using it
Yeah.
because whenever you miss it, you just get hard punished. And same
Please
with
kill me the move.
same with down air, but it has much less uses. The thing about down air is just like if they're coming up to attack you in the air and they're at high percent, you can get kills just off of bad pressure with down air, but it's just not a good option. Uh, I mean, up throw does nothing, but it also, I mean, it's good for just positioning, I guess, if you're
Yeah.
fighting like Bowser or something that hates landing.
It can up throw can also be useful on stages that has platforms, so if they get put in this tech situation.
Honestly, I also would say that I do not like up smash, but mine is a different reason. I hate how little range the move has. There have been like so many times where I felt like I should have gotten the punish with up smash, but I just didn't because the move just has like no range, and that makes me like really frustrated because it's as fast as out of shield option too. So it's like, dang dude, like I'm just getting punished for trying to punish you for hitting my shield, but okay,
Yeah.
well, it's whatever, I guess. It's what I get for playing banjo.
Yep. Gotta love the banjo. We gotta suffer with the banjo.
Yeah. I think that's it for that question. I don't think we gotta keep going on this. So I guess it's time that we can like go to another question. I guess, huh?
Uh huh.
All right. So the hype is he's been playing Banjo for 3 years, so this guy has been playing Banjo a year before Banjo came out. So
Hey.
this guy was set and ready to play Banjo, and he asked, "What is the best way to get kills with Banjo? If it isn't down throw 50-50, it's usually not a stray Wonder Wing or F smash for me." So what do you guys think is the best way to get kills with Banjo?
Blaster confirms.
Yeah.
Forward air.
My my usual go-to kill confirm that I get besides blaster into up tilt is I always get grenade egg into Wonder Wing or layer percent's fair, and it's so good to land those, especially with Wonder Wing because that's pretty much like one of the only couple things that Banjo can cheese stocks, and you need all the cheese with Banjo because he usually has a hard time. Like, I'm not saying that like Banjo is honest, but like he can sometimes feel like an honest character if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Tearbear, how do you feel? Like, what do you think are like the best ways to kill with Banjo?
Besides blaster confirms, off stage is pretty important. Gimping or the back air. Back air has a lot of uses. Nair can kind of like mess with people. They might try to attack and they just air dodge instead.
Yeah, I love saying that habit. It's funny.
But back air is really, really good. I would like to like practice it more. I'm kind of surprised I don't practice it enough already, but kind of trading with like that first hit of back air or like kind of just dragging them down on certain characters. That's fun. But yeah, offstage is pretty important.
Yes. I actually agree wholly with you, Tearbear. I was actually going to say that the best way to get kills with Banjo for me is in regard I think the best way to get kills with Banjo is edge guarding and ledge trapping. Because I feel like Banjo's his kill options, they're like they're the best. I'll be honest. If you're trying to like try to kill on stage, I feel like you would struggle a lot more. But I feel like if you try to go for edge guard situations, like I feel like you will most likely get more kills trying to edge guard your opponent. Moves like Nair, they're really good since it lasts long. Back air, that's really good too. Those two moves specifically are just like so good at like gimping people, edge guarding, ledge trapping, stuff like that. So yeah, if I had to say what's the best way to kill with Banjo, I'd say focus on edge guarding.
Yeah, and then down tilt's also amazing too, especially when they
Yeah.
burn their second jump.
Yes, very good two frame tool, very good.
Yeah, I'd
I mean,
still
I have
say
nothing else to add to what everyone else said.
I usually just
Yeah.
go for blaster confirms or like grenade forward air or grenade Wonder Wing.
So I think we all answered. I think we all answered the questions, so I think it's time that we can move on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Bruni Bruni Bronze, I hope I said your username right. He's been playing the character since release, and he asked, "Do you think mastering consistency with KFC is needed to be a top player? How important is it for Banjo's kit?"
Mm.
Any of you guys, you can like start off. Like, how important do you think it is to be consistent with KFC? Do you think it's needed to be like a top player with Banjo? And
Uh,
like, is it really important in Banjo's kit?
I'm gonna go ahead and start with this one. I don't think KFC is necessary to be a top player. Because you still have a lot of really strong kill confirms with Blaster, even without KFC. You can still do a lot of you can still secure kills at like um, let's say you can get Wonder Wings from under platforms just because Wonder Wing covers all tech chase options, so you still can get Wonder Wing confirms. You can get double shot into up tilt, which kills at like 100. Um, you can do a frame trap of full hop blaster into landing forward air, down smash if they air dodge, forward air catches the jump. Combo breakers will get out of that one, but that can either kill or set up into an edge guard situation around like 80 to 100, depending on how like the opponent is. There's still a lot of stuff you can do to kill with Blaster without KFC. Um, it's just with KFC you get a like 70% kill confirm, which is very good. But I mean, if you don't want to do that, just throw an extra egg out before going into like just if they're at 70%, just shoot a couple more blue eggs until they're at like 90%, and then go for your kill confirms. Um, and then there was one other thing. Oh yeah, and KFC doesn't really help you that much at low percent for damage. Most of our highest damage blaster combos don't use it at all. Um, you can somewhat do loops, but they're not 100% true. Um, that is an option. Um, but yeah, you don't need it in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I've seen Banjo players still do well even without KFC. Like as long as you at least know how to use some basic uh blaster combos, and then obviously grenade, then you'll do fine. You just need to like learn how to like mix up gameplay with like aggro or defensive, and then know your spacing. Be confident in if you're gonna get this confirm or not. Play the battle partition if you have to. So you can still do it, and banjos have done it, myself included. It just like it's like Robo says, like getting the 70% kill confirm off of KFC is, just nice. But it's not mandatory. It helps, but it's not mandatory.
I'm
But
gonna be saying the same exact thing as these two. Like, yeah, it helps, but it's not mandatory, so I'm not gonna add anything to it.
Yep, I'm the same way. I'm the same way. It will help you a lot with kill confirms, but it's not absolutely necessary.
yeah.
All right, so I think that's it for that question. Very good question, by the way. That's a really good question to ask. I think it's time that we move on. Um, Bones, would you like to ask this next question?
Sure. And it's by Meepasaur, and he's been playing Banjo for a year. And it's for each panelist, so everyone can chime in. How consistent can you STC and LTC, and do you believe them to be tournament viable?
So,
it's kind of a
so
repeat of the last one.
I
But
don't mean to interrupt, but I might have to like sit this one out because I don't know how to do the KFC stuff. So
that's
yeah,
fair. That's fine, man. That's fine.
yeah, just want to say.
I guess I'll go first. I can STC very consistently when facing to the left, like very, very consistently. I can STC and LTC, not STC. I can do it semi-consistently if facing to the right. It's like a weird side advantage thing. I just have a hard time doing it from that direction. For LTC, this is not as consistent, but like I can get them like enough to like get kill confirms off them. For tournament viability, it really just depends on if you're like consistent at doing them to like where you just don't do them and like whiff them and like, oh, I'm open to get punished now. Oops. So it really is down to like if you're really confident in yourself to do them.
Well, for me personally, I'm just gonna be honest. I cannot do standing turnaround cancel consist. I can't do landing turnaround cancel consistently, especially during especially when I'm in a match, and I definitely cannot do standing turnaround cancel. I have a very hard time doing it. But I do think that they are tournament viable options because we've seen players like Owl Babies. I think personally, I think he's the most technical banjo player, and I always see him like go for I always see them go for it. So I would say that they are tournament viable options.
Usually when I pull out Blaster in tournament, I don't try to go for LTC, STC. I've hit it like once in tournament before, but I just try to win neutral. That's my focus. I'm not good enough of a player to worry about completely optimizing my punishes, even though I like to figure out optimal combos in training. Um, but you do need to put in the work. It requires a lot of muscle memory. It is a tech that is probably harder than even a lot of stuff you can do in melee. Um, so you do need to build a lot of muscle memory because you don't want to be thinking about it in tournament, and that's the main thing. LTC specifically, it's much easier, but um, the latency difference between online and offline means you really need to learn it one way or the other. I can do it consistently online, but uh, any any, I mean, there's I'm not entering online tournaments.
Um, what about you, Tearbear? How do you feel about KFC? Like, do you think you're able to do like all the Kazooie fast cancel tech consistently?
I hadn't really practiced it honestly. I was for like a little bit, but then I just haven't been playing Smashes nearly as much. But yeah, it's the same as the last question. But I can do it. It's just yeah, it's you just got to practice muscle memory and whatnot. Um, but it's kind of good to like being doing those kind of motions. Good to make you a little more fluid in like just blaster movement in general. But yeah,
Yeah, and do you think the Kazooie fast cancel tech? Do you think that's viable in tournaments or no?
the the Kazooie fast cancel tech we're talking about.
Just like all of it, like standing turnaround cancel, fast turnaround cancel. Like, would you consider those to be viable options?
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's like whatever.
Yeah. Okay. I think we all like answered what we can for that question. Very good question, Meep. Um, Meep has another question. He says, where would you guys put Banjo on your own personal tier list? Do you think he's like top, high, mid, top tier, high tier, mid tier, etc.?
I
And like, do you
answered
think
this
he'd be like
earlier
do you
for
think he's a top
myself.
10, top 20, top 35 character, etc.?
I answered this earlier. I think he's just like a very middle character. Not too bad, not too bad, not too great. He's got a lot of
Yeah,
problems.
yeah. I feel
Um,
like things don't work with him as well as they could. If things were fixed with him, he is a really nice kit. He loses to heavy offense and heavy defense, but he wins against like middle of the ground characters. So there's a lot of good rushdown characters, and there's a lot of characters that outzone you. He has a lot of tools to be able to win those matchups, so they're not. So I think his bad matchups aren't as bad as some people like to make them out to be, because he just has so many tools that he can use, so many ways to just mix up and get things he really shouldn't be able to get. So you can win any matchup with Banjo. So I think he's uh, definitely upper mid tier, with a few changes, lower high tier, but that's mostly me talking about the potential of the character. And if we're talking about potential, then everything is up in the air about how good all the other characters are in relation to him, since I don't really know the potentials of all the other characters. I mean, Shulk is a character that everyone talks about as potential, but he just doesn't get that many results. That's my opinion.
I personally believe that the character is I'd say the character's mid tier. Um, like what everyone else said, Banjo has good strengths. He has strong strengths, strong weaknesses. I feel like when you compare Banjo to a lot of the other characters in the cast, they just do just better than Banjo. They just do better than Banjo. Um, for like top, I'd say like maybe top 50 or something like that. I don't really there's like so many characters in the game, so can't like automatically just like memorize that. I just can't. But I say he's definitely in the mid tier. He's definitely mid tier character.
I, I feel like if he just gets a couple like buffs or fixes, then we could definitely at least see him as a high tier character. But as right now, like he's just like mid tier. Again, he has potential, but yeah. And I agree that like Banjo has a lot of stuff going for him with his tool set that he could deal with pretty much almost all the characters in the roster. It's just knowing how to use them and just like if you're playing against like some of his hardest matchups, you are going to have an uphill battle, but it's definitely not impossible. It's doable. It's just hard.
Did
Yeah, I
you want to add
definitely
anything to that, Tearbear?
I want to add one more thing. I think Banjo's probably one of the best projectile characters in the game, like straight projectiles. Um, not straight projectiles, but straight projectile characters. I know there's a lot of normal characters that have good projectiles, but for one that focuses on his projectiles, Banjo's probably one of the best.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's just more normal characters are better in this game than projectile characters, although people always complain about projectiles.
Yeah. Like unless if it's like Snake, then yeah, they always have something to complain about some zoners. But I think that's pretty much it.
Okay.
Hold on, Tear, did you want to give your thoughts on that or no?
I'm good on that one.
Okay. So, if that's that, you want to move on to the next question?
Yes. So tape tape. He's been playing the character since the he's been playing Banjo since they came out, and he asked can down throw up tilt hit all the time? And personally, I think I've said it earlier, but no, it will not hit all the time. It won't hit all the time if your opponent is playing a Mario Party mini game on their controller, and just puts their entire body rotating the control stick. Like they will get out fast enough to the
I
point where like
call it
your
the
up
Canary
tilt.
Mary.
Yep, like it just does not. They will get out. Your opponent will get out if they like mash it. It'd be like just mash buttons quickly enough.
Like
And
if they're
I
at
also
high
have to
percents, they can like just if they're mashing like super duper hard, yeah, like high enough percents, like they can still get out. So it's
I
not that
also like
amazing a move.
uh, sorry. I also
Go ahead.
like to point out that up tilt also doesn't connect on some characters like Pichu and Omar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's problems with down throw up tilt. One of our previous moderators, Fumble, will tell you all about it, because Fumble does not like down or down throw. Like it's a very easy move to mash out of. It's not like super terrible, but I
But
wouldn't say it's super consistent either.
Yep.
yeah.
One thing I will say though, like the one like I know we talked about online versus offline earlier, but one thing I do kind of like about down throw offline is that if you're like especially if you're playing a tournament and you're like sitting next to your opponent during a match, when you do down throw, you could just sometimes take advantage of like hearing if your opponent's mashing, and if you hear the mash, you're like, oh, I'm just gonna go up tilt or fair. And if you don't hear the mash, you're just like, oh, I'm just gonna go up smash or down smash.
I did that a lot last night.
Oh yeah, I actually play against a Rob, and whenever he down throws me, I fake mash.
How do you
I
fight
make
that?
sounds on my controller, but I don't actually mash. So he goes for the up air to catch mash, and then I just start actually mashing, get out, and then escape.
Mm.
I didn't know you can actually do that. It's actually a really good strategy.
It's the meta game.
The mind games.
Also, fun fact, just want to say this real quick. Rob's down throw is actually weaker than ours. Like, it's actually a weaker berry. So if you're fighting a Rob, you can get out a little bit easier.
Well, he just has better options to cover mash or no mash than we do. Um,
He also has up to
his his up tilt is really fast. Catches them out of the mash. His up smash catches people out of the mash, which is also fast. I'm not sure how much faster it is than our up smash, but his up air in particular is just so good at catching people mashing out.
the fact that it's also a multi-hit doesn't help. Well, I mean, it helps him, but not for us.
So yeah, I think that's a very straightforward question. I don't think we need to go more in depth into that one, unless you guys have
Same.
other things to add.
Yeah.
I think
So
we're good, Chief.
yeah. So
We got a
uh
third question from Meep.
yeah.
Hi Meep, we see you. He says waves again in the questionnaire. But he's just asking multi-shot video one. I'm guessing he's wondering when a Kuuzi guide will come out. There is actually a sort of Kuuzi guide that I pinned in Smash General by Frozen Alive, who is present right now. So hi Frozen. It's a Twitter thread that he put, and he goes into good enough detail on how to do it. He's waving. Hi. I
Yep,
see you.
I see him too.
But yeah, in Smash General, I pinned a thread on Twitter that he has. Should still be there. Let me double check real quick. Yeah, it's still there.
Yep.
Just go there. It's a really in-depth guide. He has controller cam and everything. So go there. As for like an actual video, I don't know. Robo usually does like crazy blaster videos. If you want to say anything about that, don't want to put you on the spot though. So don't feel free. Don't answer if you don't need to.
Yeah, I mean, I, I just haven't made it. It's been a long time, but I just haven't made it.
Gabu just reposted in Smash Journal, by the way.
Yep. The two pinned the two pinned tweets from Frozen Alive once again. Also, I want to give a shout out to Frozen Alive for the I want to give a shout out to Frozen Alive for the videos that he's posted. They were really helpful. Thank you very much, Frozen. So
Golf clap, golf clap.
Yep.
But
all right.
yeah.
So we're almost close to our last question. This one is by Ian. He's been playing the character since September 2019, so I assume that's
We're on launch.
yep. So he says he wants us to talk about disadvantage state for Banjo, how to optimize our gameplay against Rushdown and Rushdown matchups, and talk about our best defensive tools. So this is a lot to go over.
I do a
So
lot of write-ups for Banjo's disadvantage every JMU, so I'll go first if you guys don't mind.
yeah, go
Go
ahead,
ahead.
Bones.
When I am in disadvantage versus characters like Sonic or Greninja, the first thing I try to do is just to safely get away, like just build distance when I'm in disadvantage because Banjo's airspeed's just bad. He's also, a big heavy target. So just try whatever you can do to, get distance SDI out of their loops, like Sonic's like, forward air loops. Do whatever you can, just get safe. Once you're safe, just, fire eggs, build a wall to keep them out. And just from there, just like try and play much more patiently. Because,
Um,
hmm?
sorry.
No, go ahead.
I just remembered something. I'm gonna bring it up real quick. When Banjo's in this match, I forgot to mention that he's not always completely helpless. He does have up air, which is kind of like his I wouldn't say a combo breaker because it doesn't work all the time, but it's really good at breaking out strings. So if Banjo's getting juggled, he has that going for him.
But
So like
yeah,
if
up air is
if,
good.
if yeah, so I'm not sure if it'll work on Sonic's fair because I haven't played enough Sonics, but if Sonic's trying to do his strings of fairs, I think he could break it out with up air.
But
I could be wrong.
I use grenade a lot in versus these characters too, just to keep them away. I call it speed bumping because it just keeps them from running in at you. Like if a Sonic sees a grenade, they're gonna back the hell off. If they get you off stage, the most important thing I think you should learn as Banjo when you're off stage is learn how to catch grenades, because grenades open a lot of options for you when you're off stage. You can use them to refresh your up B. You can
Yep.
chuck them back on stage to keep people away. You can up B, or if you want to burn a feather, your Wonder Wing back on.
Yeah.
Grenades are very good. You can chuck them from underneath. I've seen Vader do that a lot. I do it a lot. Grenades are your best friend off stage, just for a multitude of different reasons. Uh, just learn how to use them. You can catch them with down air and fast fall down air or whatever, and then blow yourself up, then up B back. Like off stage, your best friend is a grenade. So just learn how to grab them. Like it's vital in my opinion to learn how to grab them. Like if you want to learn
Yeah.
how to do anything with Banjo, learn how to catch grenades. Not just for like neutral, but for off stage, like most importantly.
Yeah.
But that's
Uh
how I usually do it. And just learn how to mix up, like save your jumps. If you have a grenade, like choose if it's best to throw it at someone, choose if it's best to blow yourself up. Just do whatever you can to like mix up your recovery.
yeah. And speaking of I will say that like it's always good to pull out grenade off stage, but there's been some occasions, especially on faster characters, that like if you try to grab grenade as soon as he spawned, that they'll sometimes like they're fast enough to go in at Banjo and like go for a back air or fair and it'll kill Banjo. So I'm just saying like try not to make it too much of a habit much, kind of. It's kind of hard for me to explain it, but like pretty
If
much
it's
like
a
when you're
character, if it's a character who can do that, I usually retreat a little bit, like a grenade like towards the blast zone and grab it there, then you know fast fall down, jump, blow up, up B. Just try and
yeah,
bait them out. Like Banjo has a lot of mix-up options off stage. I jokingly always tell people, disadvantage state. What disadvantage state? Because you have that many options off stage. Actually, like it's actually crazy with a grenade.
yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and start giving my opinions. Banjo is terrible at breaking strings. So if they don't give you space, then really you can't really double jump out of strings because your double jump doesn't have that much height. Our fastest aerial is up air at frame 7, and doing that, you can fast fall up air, which is pretty nice. And then other than that, really you just like air dodge. Um, he's pretty bad at getting out of strings, but if you're out of a string and you have time to set up, then he's very good at resetting to neutral. Um, you can usually up B to get a lot of height so that they can't follow you, and then grab the grenade egg. Um, Once you have the grenade egg covers pretty much anything you want to do. If you want to just land, you can let the grenade egg fall with you and just keep it in between you and the opponent. Um, if you're horizontally off stage, then it's really good to up B first, grab the grenade egg, and then fall. And like, if they're still on stage, throw the grenade egg at them while you double jump to ledge. It's they can't really like two frame you or anything if they're blocking your grenade egg. Um, as they said, grabbing the grenade egg is punishable, so don't always do it immediately out of hit stun. Make sure that you're not going to be punished for grabbing it, and then grab it whenever you have the chance to. Um, because you can grab it pretty much at any point in your recovery as long as you have just like a double jump and air dodge, 2 double jumps, or your up B, then you're good to recover from anywhere in the stage.
Yep.
So you can, if they're planning on going off stage to hit you out of grabbing it immediately, just fast fall up air and then grab it all the way at the bottom and blow yourself up to get up, or just grab it and then double jump up, beat a ledge, and then use it as like a ledge roll explosion. Banjo also has a really good ledge game. He has he can ledge drop, double jump right on the stage, um, in like 25 frames, whereas neutral get up is like 35. 35. So you can so being on ledge is actually a pretty beneficial place for a banjo to be. Um, so once you get on ledge, then you can easily get your space back by like ledge jump, um, neutral being, or throwing a grenade egg, or if they're trying to like shield right on ledge, you can just ledge jump and then phantom footstool their shield. Um, so just once you get to ledge, then you're completely safe. Banjo is pretty hard to ledge trap. So he's just really good at resetting neutral, but not good at escaping strings.
He also has really good options from ledge. Also, like you can do like egging the blaster up tilt from ledge. You can do
Yeah.
grenades, like
Yeah.
keep them away.
Yeah, his ledge hop, which when I say that I mean ledge drop double jump, it's hard to do, but it is the best ledge hop in the game. Because
Yeah.
as I said, it lands like 25 frames after you drop, and that is much faster than even just neutral get up. You can ledge hop forward air, and you will be out of your forward air lag before you're normally actionable after doing a neutral get up. And you can like ledge hop, land on stage, just tomahawk grab them, and you'll grab them faster than you would normally be actionable in a neutral get up. So it breaks a lot of ledge trapping.
Yeah.
I also would like to point out like that thing I mentioned with the egg blaster up tilt. I've killed a lot of people with that because a lot of people don't expect it. Like it's a good like just like reversal option. Just like Banjo's like ledge game is really good. And the tomahawk grabbing, blaster up tilt, grenades. Like if you can get to ledge, you'll be fairly safe, which is why I usually save my my gold feathers when I'm off stage, unless I really want to kill someone. It's not a really good habit, so don't really do that. But like I always save a few Wonder Wings when I'm off stage so I can get to ledge and try and do a reversal.
One thing I want to add also before I forget, is that Barrel is also pretty decent at sharking your opponent below the stage. So like if they're trying to like get ready to set up a ledge trap or get ready to edge guard you, then Banjo's up air can hook through the stage to hit your opponent. So that's pretty decent, especially since he can mix it up with his jumps. Um, the other thing, like it's not recommended you do all the time, especially since how safe it is. But there's been a couple occasions where like I do the up air sharks, and then when I do up B, sometimes Banjo will be facing away from the stage. And when he does that, you could like sneak in a Wonder Wing, and sometimes it'll catch him off guard. Or if they like expect that, then you could just like land for free and then like go in for either a grab or just run away and reset neutral.
Now, I do want to say Wonder Winging on the stage from disadvantage is a very, very bad habit that no one should ever do. It will work, but
Yeah.
you shouldn't do it. Um, I just wanted to say that. I want to say that anytime Wonder Winging on stage is brought up, and I want to say that to myself anytime I Wonder Wing on the stage, because I've gotten killed so many times trying to do a reversal with a Wonder Wing when it's not even really going to be. The only time you should ever guaranteed Wonder Wing on the stage is if they're just charging a smash attack.
Yeah, it's always when I do it. But if you go to ledge with it, you should be safe to know that you can still get two framed when you grab it.
Yeah. There you can technically very, very precise. You can grab the ledge from above the ledge very slightly with like within units and get the invincible ledge grab. Because if you didn't know, if you grab the ledge from above the ledge, then you're completely invincible. You can't get two framed. It's just Banjo doesn't have a very good ledge grab hitbox, so you can only get that. You can only get the above ledge um, invincible ledge grab if you double jump to ledge very specifically, or if you get a very precise Wonder Wing to ledge.
Right. And it's also that we have to be careful with Wonder Wing because I'm not sure if you guys got into it before, but like sometimes when you Wonder Wing to the ledge, Banjo will just suddenly like hit himself against the wall of the stage, and then that puts him in a situation where like after he gets hit by the wall, someone could just like hit him during his animation, or like he could just tumble to the ground, and if you're not ready, he could accidentally SD for it.
Yeah, if you bonk onto the wall and someone's say they tried to ledge trump you, uh, then you just die if you don't have an up B. Because if they're on the ledge and you bonk on the wall, then they push you too far away from the ledge to grab it.
Yeah.
Very random. Well, sorry, I've been speaking. Do you guys mind if I just get going? I'm
Yeah,
just,
go ahead, man.
I'm a
Go
little
ahead.
tired, and I just want to chill
Yeah, that's
for a
fine.
couple
Thanks.
hours before I go to work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks for showing up.
Yeah, thanks for coming, Tearbear.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank
Have
you.
a
We
good.
really appreciate it.
Huh?
We're gonna say we really appreciate it.
Oh yeah, thank you. No problem. Yeah, you guys have a good day. Have a good week,
You too.
everyone, or weekend. Happy Labor
You
Day.
too.
Happy Labor Day.
Yep.
But does anyone else want to add to the question about disadvantage day and how to optimize against like rushdown?
Okay, so I haven't really said anything about disadvantage with Banjo. So when it comes to disadvantage state, a lot of times you will be above your opponent, and it's very important for you to mix up your landings. And I might repeat what some players say, but I think it's very important to get it across the point. It's very important for you to mix up your landings because Banjo is a character that gets easily juggled. He's heavy, he has very slow airspeed, and his landing options are not the best. So it's very important that you mix up your landing options. You can either use like an up B in order to like have like a spring below you. A lot of top Banjo players like Tearbear and Owl's Babies, they like to land with Nair, which is also a really good option as well. Um, I personally like landing with I like Z catching a grenade and then like dropping it down below me. That way I have like a hitbox of some sort like below me, which will make my opponents like think twice about trying to intercept my landing. I like also trying to try to grab ledge instead of going on stage because sometimes I feel a lot nervous when dealing with my opponent's aggression advantage state. So it's very important to mix up your landing options and disadvantage. It's also important to try to like maintain the stage control because when you're able to like maintain stage control, you can easily get back into neutral. And I think grenade, a lot of top Banjo players, they like to use grenade a lot in disadvantage, which is a very good tool because grenade is very good at giving you stage control. So I recommend using grenade a lot when you're like in disadvantage. Don't use it like just like with no brain, obviously, but it's a very good tool to use it in disadvantage as well.
Yeah.
Um, you also when playing Banjo and you're like getting shield pressure, you need to realize that Banjo's shield pressure is not the best, and a lot of times you won't be able to punish a lot of moves. You hit your shield. So like imagine like Lucina's like forward air in your shield. You're not gonna punish her because not only is that move -6, but she'll also like space out her moves as well. So you're better off when you're dealing with shield pressure, you're better off jumping out of shield or dashing away because those are like the fastest out of shield options, in my
Uh,
opinion. I mean, well, like, I know, like speaking about like just like in general, because like jumping at a shield is frame 3, but like if we're talking about moves, and like up smash would be like the fastest option. That's what I'd say about like when dealing with shield pressure. Um, never. Rotembo, he already said it earlier, but I'm just gonna say it again. Never Wonder Wing at disadvantage. Just don't do it. It's not a good option. Like you may hit your opponent like one time in a match, but you will never hit your opponent ever again when you Wonder Wing at a disadvantage. So like, don't do it. Don't do it. Just don't.
Yeah,
I've seen way too many Banjo players do it, and it makes me sad every time I see it happen. Um,
yeah.
Now, one
when it
thing
comes,
you can do, I don't think any questions will actually give me a chance to say this, but if you want to do completely safe Wonder Wings, well, not 100% safe since they can go off stage and punish you. From on stage, if you push them into the corner, you have the chance to short hop Wonder Wing them or full hop Wonder Wing from around mid stage and land off stage or land directly onto the ledge. Just because I don't think the topic of safe Wonder Wings is going to come up. Wanted to throw that out there.
yeah.
Um,
So
The only time a Wonder Wing is truly safe, I feel, is if you're doing it out of a KFC.
yeah.
Even then, it's not
Yeah.
even true.
Well, yeah. Also, if you're catching people's landings and like they don't have a double jump, and the only way they can avoid a Wonder Wing is by air dodging, then it's pretty safe to go for that one. And it's also just a generally good idea. It's just if you want to use a Wonder Wing and you want it to be safe, just short hop it. So instead of sticking to the ledge, you go off stage.
Oh yeah. Also, unrelated to the question, but I love using Wonder Wing for like tech chase situations. I love it so much. So
Did I use it
I,
as
Yeah,
a way
me
to
too.
call people out for doing the same thing over and over again?
yep,
Me
yep.
too.
It's the
So
best use for it.
so when it comes to pushing it, so when it comes to game plan towards rush down, optimizing your game plan, you just have to you when it comes to optimizing, I recommend trying to play a lot more defensive, a lot more defensive than you normally would, because rush down characters could like they will cause you to like eat like 60% for one mistake. So you want to be careful. Um, use eggs, use grenades, Brigo Blaster. Also space your moves with like back air, or like any disjoint with Kazooie, because that's also helpful too. I I really like using moves like back air when I'm playing against characters like Roy. I find it really helpful. Makes the matchup a lot more bearable. Still a bad matchup, but when you're like spacing your moves out, it's really helpful. Um, so yeah, I think I said everything I could say about optimizing your game plan about game towards rushdown characters. A lot of rushdown characters, they tend to get comboed easily, like Roy, for example. So when you manage to like get a hit on them, you really need to push your advantage state. You need
Yeah.
to try to edge guard, try to ledge trap. Do not let them get all the space that they want, because that is what a rushdown character wants. They want space to run around. They want space to like try to like get onto you, and they want like a lot of space in order to try to avoid our projectiles. So it's very important that like you try your hardest not to give them a lot of space, which is why I think grenade is such a good tool. And like I said, I said it earlier and I'll say it again. Grenade gives you a lot of stage control, because people are very scared to try to challenge grenade, and rightfully so. I think it's a really good move. But
Yeah.
so that's why I think it's really important to like use a grenade against rushdown a lot.
Yeah.
Um, and last, about best defensive tools like back air shield. Back air shield is a good tool, but it only works in one direction, and that's only when the opponent is behind you. Dash back forward tilt, that's a good tool. I think it's a really good tool, really good
Yeah.
poking tool actually.
I
Um,
was
I
I was
oh
also
yeah,
gonna bring up that.
sorry, Vader, you're saying.
Oh, sorry. I was also gonna say that forward tilt's also pretty good. Like there's honorable mention.
Yeah.
Indeed, very good tool for poking.
Forward tilt is
Um,
really good at stuffing approaches, just like down tilt, but forward tilt you can also aim it up and it's really good at catching people out of short hops, but it is a bit difficult to react to a short hop and then hit the specific up angled forward tilt because for some reason those angles are really precise. Or not really, but just a bit difficult to hit.
Yeah, just tricky.
One thing about you like relieving shield pressure, if you can't punish someone in shield and you want to say jump out of shield, what you can always do is a lot of times Rushdown will want to say a Roy is rushing you down. He jabs your shield. A lot of times he'll try to jab again to catch a shield drop. If you jump out, instead of just doing nothing or trying to escape, what you can always do is jump and immediately drift away while dropping a grenade. That way, you're trying whenever while you're escaping, you're also trying to create space, working like one step ahead. So, I mean, you can always get punished out of the. Um, if you do it too often, you can always get red and punished out of the grenade spawn. But um, you have
Yeah.
to work a few steps ahead um, in order to create the space you need to work with against a rushdown.
Right.
I just want to start wrapping things up now. If you guys are done with that topic now.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yep.
I think I've said everything that I needed to say about it.
All right.
Yeah, I think we all said a lot.
Do you guys
Yeah.
have any final statements before we end here?
Banjo's cool. I like Banjo.
Yeah, Banjo's
um,
pretty cool. I like him.
um, don't lose faith in the character. It may look like an uphill battle, but don't give up. He has a lot of potential. You can do it. Just require a lot of dedication, a lot of matchup knowledge, a lot of like practice. Because you can do it. Just don't just don't give up. There's a reason why I'm still playing Banjo right now.
Should post that never give up meme. But
Oh yeah, never give up, never surrender.
Robo, did you want to add anything before we close up here?
Nope.
All right. Well, I'd like to thank all of you for showing up. Both the labbers, Tearbear, who left earlier, but thank him for showing up. And I'd like to thank the audience for showing up. I'd like to thank Beard for putting this all together and recording it. If you want to come in and say anything, Beard, give him a second. I don't think he wants to, but
Oh, he waved.
he's waving. There he is.
Yep.
But yeah, that'll conclude the first Banjocord Q&A. I'm Bones, and you
And
guys
I'm
just want to say
and I'm
your names?
Gabagoo. I really enjoyed my time here. It was a blast being able to answer questions from our community.
All right.
Yes, sirs.
I guess that's where we'll end it. If you guys want to stick around in about probably an hour, set up OBS Streamlabs. I will have that Banjo Tooie stream. We'll have
Hey.
staff members there if you want to talk to them. A little more like silly Q&A if you want to do that too, I guess. But I'm gonna go take a break real quick, get something to drink.
Just one more thing. Like, if any of the Banjo players have any more questions to ask, feel free to ask any of the labbers, or even like if they're available to top Banjos, and we'll do our best to answer your questions. Or maybe if you guys need help with like learning the character or don't know what to do, then we can also help with that too.
Yeah.
And with that, that's pretty much all I have to say other than
All right.
Banjo.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave too.